I'm Mike Glover, the founder of XPD8, a Mumbai-based business that's developed a new way for the construction industry to engage with its supply chain, replacing people and paper systems with easy-to-use technology and software. It's a platform that will be used every day by buyers and suppliers, and both will save money simultaneously. It'll be presented to each user organization as their own branded tool to be used to complement any of their existing systems. It uses digital collaboration to create savings for suppliers, which are axiomatically shared with buyers and create a brand new revenue stream for the industry. And it's free to use for all stakeholders. We believe that the construction industry will undergo huge transformation in the coming years. And with digitalization at its heart, XPD8 can become the ecosystem that drives and shapes that change. XPD8 believes that the construction industry is the most interesting, exciting and high potential industry sectors out there, and you should too. First of all, it's the largest industry in the global economy, encompassing real estate, infrastructure and industrial structures, accounting for almost 15% of the world's GDP. It's also one of the oldest sectors. It covers a tremendous scope of activity when you think about the building of early simple dwellings to the building of the pyramids, right up to the beautiful skyscrapers and bridges that make up our skyline. Construction can be relatively simple, from small self-built homes to extremely complex if you think about the development of underground metros or viaducts and everything in between. One of the biggest investments many of us will ever make is in our homes, and we need construction for almost all aspects of our society. To build our hospitals, our schools, our workplaces, and the means to get there in terms of transport infrastructure. But the construction industry needs to change, and we believe it's set to change dramatically over the coming years. We believe XPD8 can make a real impact in this journey. Much of the industry suffers from high competition and low margins and consequent price volatility. This constrains suppliers from investing in their capability, impacting everything from the caliber of people employed to the quality of the product or service offered, and the level of product or service innovation is woefully inadequate. Other parts of the supply chain try and insulate themselves from the competition-driven commercial pressures by selling through intermediaries, losing touch with end-use application and commoditizing their offering. McKinsey talks about a perfect storm of standardization, digitalization and globalization, all set to hit the construction industry simultaneously, where almost all other industries have been able to deal with them consecutively. This will create huge winners and many losers, and represents an enormous opportunity for new disruptive models like XPD8 who can help players deal with the burden of this change. We have specifically selected the India construction market to launch our model for a number of key reasons. Firstly, it's one of the largest and fastest growing construction markets, set to be worth $1 trillion by 2025 according to KPMG, when it will become the third largest construction market in the world. Its growth dynamic is undeniable, at the very least matching the country's GDP growth, driven by the urgent needs for infrastructure and housing, caused by population growth, urbanization and the growing sophistication of the middle class. However, its market structure is highly fragmented and highly intermediated right throughout the supply chain, much more so than most other countries, and its competitiveness and culture result in huge market inefficiencies. For us, the scope to simplify the supply chain and eliminate these inefficiencies through digitalization can yield fantastic potential, addressing what amounts to a spend of almost $400 billion if the right business model is deployed. In terms of digitalization, construction is one of the lowest utilizers of digital tools of all the industry sectors. We believe that there is a logic to every behavior, and a deep understanding of what drives that behavior is the only way to unlock a pragmatic solution. If we look at the e-market solutions available to construction, you will find a number of e-commerce providers that to date have achieved some but limited success. The problem is that the e-commerce model is really designed for B2C type applications. It simply doesn't work for the large players or for the large spend categories. Practically, in true B2B commerce, companies always want to negotiate their own deal for a variety of reasons, and the purchase power of the larger construction companies is always far greater than any e-commerce platform, And frankly speaking, it's difficult to see how e-commerce can grow large enough to get to the purchase power tipping point of true B2B application. E-procurement, on the other hand, is a costly investment and complex to deploy. The construction industry in India is simply not yet sophisticated enough to deploy e-procurement effectively. XPD8's model is different. It's a sourcing, in fact an open source platform like e-procurement, but it's as simple to deploy as an e-commerce model, and it's totally free to use. It simultaneously creates value for both buyers and suppliers because it changes the way buyers engage with their suppliers to unlock new collaboration mechanisms up, down and across the supply chain. Suppliers join our network for free and they can access buyers when they are ready to buy. They can increase their sales by incentivizing buyers without impacting market price. In fact, if they transact through our platform, they are guaranteed to increase their sales and their operating profit margin. Buyers also gain new cost savings above and beyond their own individual purchase price power because the platform can aggregate their demand anonymously with other buyers to secure a better deal. What is more, the additional cost saving is paid by bank transfer to make these cost savings highly tangible and creates a new revenue stream for the purchase department. And the benefits secured drop straight to the business's bottom line. XPD8 is able to create new value because it simplifies the supply chain, removing negotiation friction between buyers and suppliers, making selling far more efficient and matching aggregate demand to unused capacity. It will change the market structure at a macro level through disintermediation and by eliminating wasteful competition, replacing it with co-opetition instead. Ultimately, this saves money on wasted sales and marketing and underutilized market supply capacity. The quantum of savings can range between 5 and 30% across the whole range of construction spend. XPD8 doesn't charge a subscription, nor does it depend on advertising revenues. Its monetization model is based on gain share, extracting a percentage of the value created for both buyers and suppliers at each transaction. We never own the inventory, so the solution doesn't need a lot of cash to deploy, and our exposure to bad or slow payment is minimal. The mechanisms deployed ensure that the solution is highly sticky. It's logical for both buyers and suppliers to use the platform on a regular and repeat basis. We are looking for a capital raise of up to $1.5 million. This covers some pre-operating costs made up by the cost to develop the model itself and the cost of the platform build to get it to its current state, all of which were executed with various suppliers on contingent payment terms, and they have allowed us to reach the point where we now have full online transaction capability. We'll need to cover our working capital requirement and to cover for the engagement of business development and support resources. The platform itself also needs significant further development to allow scalability and the development of user MIS and admin functions. We also want to develop a number of other complementary solutions which will increase the functional utility of the platform to drive quicker and deeper penetration. These features are already conceived.